So this is about the importance of trade schools or technical schools. And one of the reasons why I want to talk about this is even though I am a engineering student at college, which is of course at Kennesaw State, that even though that's the case, I also know a lot of people working in the field, such as my future workplace I'll be hoping to be working at has PLC technicians, but there's not a lot of people working in that kind of field. Another thing is that I know a lot of people who are doing MET and EET, which is mechanical engineering technologies and electrical engineering technologies, that sort of does that, but they also tell me that there's very low, machinists or mechanics or electricians or plumbers or people with those type of skill sets. And one of the reasons why I want to talk about it is that there's such a low acceptance, or not acceptance, more of a low enroll rate, that there is a huge demand for apprentices and journeymen and going on to master mechanics and master electricians. But because those master electricians and master mechanics don't have the people to train under them, the job market is constantly having a higher demand. Now, why is that the problem? Now one of the problems is that high school tend to publicize colleges a lot, and another one is that they tend to not, want students technically go to trade schools because it's not publicized and they don't want to see that. From my school, when I went to from my high school, they had a wall dedicated for people to go to colleges, but I never saw anybody go into a technical school. So that's one of the reasons. Another one of the reasons is that college is kind of a heavy debt. One of them is that you have to be competing with a lot of people going into colleges, and you're going to fight against a lot of brilliant people in different types of colleges. There are some colleges that are very expensive to get in with really high tuitions, and even though they have a high acceptance rate, they have a really also high tuition rate. Yeah, you have to think, and you also have to think about if you have to live near the campus, or you have to buy food at the campus, and then you have to think about all those things. And then lastly is that the student debt. Now, the record number shows that student debt has gone to an all-time high, and then people are struggling to pay off this debt. I think about 1.6 or 1.5 trillion dollars of people are trillion dollars of debt has been sprinkling over about 40, 50 million people, and people are, and currently even people in their 30s or 40s are still currently paying off that debt, because people can rack up that debt pretty high, some as high as maybe 200 or 100,000 to as low as probably around 10 grand, and the people who are fortunate enough to pay it all off will come out as little as debt. Another thing is that it's 4 years, so the student debt, accumulates over the semesters. Now, here are the things about, trade schools though. It's not a 4-year university, it's usually 2 years. 2 years, so there's 4 years and 2 years. 2 years to allow you to go from training, and then you can become an apprentice or a journeyman, as I've learned from my friend who is also working into, air conditioning and contracting, or electrician or mechanics, that he said that since there is very little, only 2 years of training, he can start immediately working at that, because you can go to a union and you can start working, and there will always be jobs applying for jobs, and you can always get those jobs. Though that is another thing that people, are scared. Like they're thinking, oh, it's very hard labor. Oh, they're always being cut off, or oh, that it's just not, there's not a huge market. Well, it's an opposite fact. There's always a huge market for those kind of jobs because it's so low, and they can't be outsourced anywhere. And because of that, like, if your car's broken down, where you go? To a mechanic. What happens to mechanics? Well, then you have a broken car. So that's another problem. And so in the end, another thing is to think about is that going to school is a high risk, and this information is to help you figure out what is the best choice for you. I chose to go to college because I thought it was the only way. Until later figured out I could have gone to a trade school, and I wish I could have gone to trade school if I had the chance. But I think I enjoyed college because I was able to do it. And some people cannot do college, and I've seen it with my friends. But they enjoy what they do now, which is basically doing manual labor, which is like doing a mechanic or electrician or being an air conditioning repairman. And because of that, they're happy with what they're doing. And so, what my last thing is I like to say is that, in the end, you choose what you want to do. Of course, there's other people who are going to do a lot of stuff, and they're going to do other stuff such as doing colleges or doing trade schools. And I implore you to explore other options that you might like in the future. Thank you.